Yeah, it's kind of funny too. Like when I started doing YouTube, I thought like I have so much experience as a video editor and like a filmmaker just in general, on top of VFX artist. So I thought, oh, this YouTube thing is gonna be so simple. And I was so wrong. I had to unlearn everything that I thought I knew in order to relearn how to be a YouTuber, but also a YouTube editor. Because it's so different. When I used to do music videos, I would tell my clients, yeah, give me 3 months, right? And that was fine. And I started doing YouTube and I would start doing like 2 weeks on one video, and then the video gets 20 views. And I'm like, yeah, I can't go with that pace. I need to do something.
Go.
And then I had to relearn everything basically to be a YouTuber.
Oh, right then. Hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Hey, Julie Mo, how are you doing, man? Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Steinberg's Deep Dive of Creators. I am butchering that name. Creator Deep Dive. I apparently just can't get my words right today. It's been a long day. But you all get to relax now with a wonderful podcast and a fantastic guest. So today we've got GaelLEVEL on, who is... To say he's one of the most creative people you've ever seen when it comes to OBS and streaming is just an understatement. This man has created some truly ridiculous stuff inside the software that every creator uses on a daily basis, but just blows it out the water. So, yeah, we're going to jump into it. Who? The man himself. Was that a good intro? Was that good? You like that?
Yeah, I loved it. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. Thank you for jumping on. I really appreciate it as well. So yeah, I guess the easiest way to start this off is you give your introduction on who you are to everyone, because I think it's one thing for me to say it, but everyone always has their own like description of what they are, which is way better than any justice I could do it.
Absolutely. Hi, I'm GaelLEVEL, and I'm a full-time content creator. I'm mostly known for my main YouTube channel where I do tutorials and I give advice, and I do sort of like multimedia artist type of approach to creating content and live streaming in general. That's it.
It's, man, like I've been... we've been in the same space for a while with like the OBS stuff, but some of the things you have done with it is truly incredible. Especially, I saw you post, was it today or yesterday, about the holographic cards that you've done,
yeah.
which I watch that sort of stuff and I go, I know how I think I'd do it. And then I go and watch your video and go, nope, I was way off. I guess like with content creation and the stuff you do on YouTube, what really drew you to that? What started like your content journey, really?
So I actually have a background in graphic design in general. Like on my bio, I put multimedia artist. I've been doing it for so long, like for so long. I actually started doing, secretly, paid graphic design work when I was like 13 years old. I was doing like I was doing designs for invitations for parties.
Yeah.
Back when I was when I used to live in Haiti. So from there, like my experience in multimedia everything. I used to also like produce music and things like that, just grew and grew and grew. And when I was like 17, 18, and then 20, I think is when I started like looking into live streaming. Back then, Twitch didn't exist.
Yeah.
And YouTube, I think, didn't have a live streaming option, or at least like not gaming. And there was this website called livestreaming.com, I believe. And that was the only place on the net where anyone can create an account and live stream. And I started there and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So when Twitch came about, I created the channel that everyone knows now just to post my clips. And, the idea of a small streamer is like, oh, I'm going to make a Twitch. I'm going to make a YouTube channel. I'm going to post my VOD and my clips and that's going to be content, right? Exactly. And of course, that doesn't work at all. No one is looking for, some random clips on the internet, at least not at the time. Then one day I started looking up how to do more stuff with my stream. And I realized that the information was scattered all over the internet. And I had to like pick some parts from here and there and all that. And I thought I was like, oh, I need to make a video to give that information just clearly to anyone who's looking for that, because Twitch seems to be a pretty cool website. Everyone is looking. It was about Twitch alerts. Something as simple as just setting up Twitch alerts was basically non-existent on YouTube. So I made that video, not thinking anything of it. My channel was averaging 1 or 2 views per video at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember posting the video, going to bed, waking up to like 2,000 views and a bunch of comments saying, oh, how do you do this then? And how do you do that? And oh my God, you should make more videos. Oh, I love the way you explain stuff and blah, blah, blah. So from there, it just continued. And then I was able to put my, my background in graphic design and all that and try to infuse it in there and teach people to be more creative with live streaming in general.
Yeah. You're so right, though, in the sense that that information didn't exist. When I started streaming, it was exactly the same. That they just, I remember, do you remember the software Fraps?
Yes.
The first time I ever tried to record anything, because I studied visual effects in uni, was me and my friends playing a game, and I basically wanted to video composite a meme. I just wanted to track some heads on, and I remember being like, oh, what can I use? Oh, Fraps. And then my friend showed me OBS, and at the time, do you remember original OBS where it was all white and you could have like 5 scenes? And again, I go on YouTube, look for any form of instruction, just didn't exist. So yeah, man, you've been doing the best work for streamers for a long time. But I mean, with the the tutorial stuff, was there anything aside from that sort of pulled you into streaming more than making videos, or was it, like you say, you started streaming first? Did the long form become the thing that you enjoyed more, or would you say they sort of equaled out?
I'd say it's very different. I definitely felt the need to express myself, and this is actually, not a lot of people know this, but this was actually my 3rd channel or something like that on YouTube. So I've been posting on YouTube for, I think, since YouTube existed, actually. Since the beginning. Most of my channels are more than 10 years old. And and yeah, like when I made that channel, it was like my 3rd channel, and it was just supposed to be for gaming only. So when I started streaming on Twitch, my goal was to just make friends. I didn't know any streamers that were making money, or any type of real money or anything like that. I never even imagined that it would be something sustainable ever, or that it would bring any
well, I mean,
like a source of income, but I just needed to make friends. And then when I made the tutorial and that started working, I was like, oh, this is cool. People are paying attention to me and what I have to say. I have a ton of ideas, and this is the perfect excuse for me to just look up stuff and come up with ideas, execute them, show them to everyone, and then never speak of them again, basically. So it became this weird creative output for me. To the point of course, where I started doing it more because I was able to do it full time thanks to YouTube in that specific channel. So now I was really, really in this machine. And to me, it's like I still have those ideas and I still want to express them and all that, but also I do very much feel like it's a job, right? I really feel like it's a job. Whereas Twitch and my live streaming is still like a hobby for me. It's still something that I do just to have fun, and I feel no obligation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you're right about the monetization. When I started, at least I remember the only way you could monetize on Twitch was to be partnered, and the affiliate program didn't even exist at that point. So I feel quite a few of the people that I've interviewed, well, I say quite a few, everyone from the last 3 podcasts has said sort of the same thing of when they started, they didn't consider this something to make money. It was purely for fun. It was purely a hobby, whether it was YouTube or Twitch. And it's quite fascinating now to see the difference in probably, you'll see it, the people who are watching your videos who are coming in with the idea of making money and being full time. How long have you been full time then as a creator? You said obviously you're doing graphic design, but where was the switch?
As a full-time content creator, I think probably 7 to 8 years now.
Wow.
I actually switched pretty early on because my last job, my last physical job, I told myself that I would never get another job again. So I really did everything to try to get monetized. So even when I wasn't really making a living, I was still
Yeah.
full time. Basically, I made sure to not have anything else on the side, and I was only working on on the YouTube channel and getting the views and getting my monetization up. Thankfully, sometimes I think about if I had a job and I was able to do it on the side, because this is like a big debate that people have, and they're like, "Oh, well, I have a job, I can't be a YouTuber or whatever." And I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, I have this take on it, which is when you have a fixed schedule because of your job, it's actually easier for you to do things like that on the side because your schedule is fixed. You don't have a choice, basically. It's either
Yes.
you do it or you don't. Whereas if I have my whole 24 hours completely free and no discipline whatsoever, there's no push. There's no reason to get up early and drink coffee. There's nothing, right? If sometimes I'm like, I wish I only had 2 hours to work because I would definitely make it work. Now that I have 24 hours, it's way more difficult, you know? So
I
that's an advantage that I had, but also a disadvantage to be completely free. But I was fighting the clock basically, right?
Yeah.
My first paycheck for YouTube was 63 cents. I'll never forget.
Solid. You could buy
Yeah.
a chocolate bar.
Yeah. And I was so happy. I cried because I never thought it would be possible. It was the first time in my life, especially like I was having difficulties with my past job and stuff. It was the first time in my life that things that I decided to post, basically, I decided to create those things and no one told me anything and I didn't work for anyone and I got rewarded for it. I was like, this is possible, you know?
Like,
and then I started, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, light at the end of the tunnel, really, for
Absolutely.
that process.
Absolutely. Especially when people around, like I didn't know any YouTubers. I didn't know anyone making anything. I didn't even know any entrepreneurs or anything like that. Everyone was like strict to the system and really trying to push me towards that system. That wasn't working for me at all. So it was like, oh, they were all wrong. You know, I could finally prove to myself and everyone else that, oh no, there is a path that is different than, you know, force yourself to go to your job every morning and be miserable, you know? But that was my case. I'm not saying for everyone.
No, to be honest, I really resonate with the idea of working a job and creating. I went full time in 2019 from working at a supermarket. You know, I'd had a job. I had a job in visual effects. I then started a business. That business went really well and then really badly, and I ended up working at the supermarket. It's the only job that I was able to get because I got the whole "you're too qualified" thing, which I hate. But then when I went full time, I realized that my day was, because I was just streaming. I wasn't doing YouTube. I was basically just sat there doing nothing with my day until I streamed. You know, that like you say, that schedule wasn't there to push me. It's a really good take, I think, especially for anybody going into content creation. You need to nail that self-discipline. Otherwise you won't get very far at all. I guess with full-time content creation and everything that you've done, you've landed in the world of not only tutorials, but doing these incredibly creative things with OBS. Like I say, you know, the holographic card, the really cool overlays and alerts and templates and things that you've made. When it comes to pushing the boundaries or coming up with a new idea, do you have a process for that? Or is it purely you just get inspired by something one day and you're like, hey, I'm going to build it?
I think, I don't know. I feel like I don't like calling it a process because it feels random to me all the time. But in graphic design in general, or anything creative that I'm doing, anything that has to do with, you know, a little bit of art in there, I try to take inspiration from anywhere, right? Like I'm very curious about many different things. So I remember like when I started selling overlays, for example, or putting overlays up for free mostly, but some of them are paid. I remember looking for inspiration and not liking to look for inspiration for overlays by looking at other overlays. To me, it was too redundant. It was like, oh, I need to take inspiration from somewhere else, from UIs, from video games, from. And then I remember having this conversation about like makeup palettes and something like that at a time where YouTubers were pushing out makeup palettes. And I was talking to my friend, and we were like, oh, well, if I were to design a makeup palette, it would look like this and it would look like that. And I was like, I want to make like a kind of a girly type of overlay, and I'm going to inspire it. I'm going to design it as if it was a makeup palette. And then that became one of my most downloaded overlays of all time. I'm like, oh, who would have thought? And it's like, that's the only overlay out there that looks like that. So when it comes to getting inspired, you can really, really take from anything. If I'm watching a movie or a thought, or I'm listening to a song or anything like that, really, really comes to mind. I definitely have a thing for UI elements. I think like if you look at my overlays and the stuff that I create, everyone will see that, I'm a little obsessed with like UI and UX design and things like that.
I think that the way I view overlays, because I've designed also quite a few, I see the overlay as the UI for the stream. You know, it's a viewer interacting with it, you know, just visually, but they are still interacting with it. So, and it's interesting you say about not looking at other overlays, because I mean, if you go back to 2017 to 2020, you can tell an overlay from that period because they all look the same. They all look like they're very sci-fi inspired, quite neon. It's like that time when there was, I don't know whether there was a really specific graphic designer out there or just one of those tools that turned people's faces into a logo. But you know, the classic like cartoonified Twitch logo that people have. And I always would look at those and go, well, I'm never going to stand out. So I love the inspiration from the makeup palette and the UI, because you're actually going to come up with something unique that way.
Yeah.
Which is
absolutely.
I mean,
and it's just good practice in general. I love like mixing different niches. I always tell people, hey, if you're looking for inspiration for one niche, like look at how are other people doing it, especially for content creation. Is when I first started giving out advice and all that stuff, people were asking me stuff about streaming, but if they're researching it, they would put for streaming, best microphone for streaming, best camera for streaming. It's like streaming did not invent microphones or cameras. Cameras long existed. You could learn how to master like audio without typing for streamers, because otherwise you're gonna fall into that for streamers trap, and then you're gonna get bad advice, and then gaming companies are gonna start pushing out like crappy microphones and be like, it's for streamers, and then you're gonna be like, oh yes, that is worth $200, when it's not. It's not at all. When people from the music industry have been looking at cheap alternatives that have the best quality and stuff like that, it was a whole fight with me and my viewers when I was starting out with the whole everyone needs a Blue Yeti and a Scarlett. I hated that period, I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I mean, obviously very poignant with, the channel we're on with Steinberg. Steinberg entering the realm of streamers with their new product Mixkey, which, I've been involved with now for several months, helping them design and everything. And now it's out. It's wonderful. We took it to TwitchCon. And the amount of people who were coming by and going, hey, who's Steinberg? What's this? And just them seeing light up when it's like, oh, well, here's a really good professional microphone, which is cheaper than your gamified alternative that sounds 10 times better, and it's got great software to go with it. When I started, I remember having a similar rant. I mean, I've had it many, many times where people go, oh, well, the Blue Yeti, etc. And I go, look at pro audio stuff. It will always be better. It's nice to hear you have that stance.
I mean, absolutely.
Speaking of audio, because we got to ask the question, what are you running right now? I can see you have the Elgato Wave DX as a microphone. Snap. Good choice. But what are you running? And also, like, how do you run your audio into OBS for your recording for YouTube and streaming?
So I try to go very, very simple because I'm not a fan of complex anything. I used to have like I used to be like such a huge fan of like nothing software, everything hardware, my EQ, my blah, 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 and all that. But nowadays, 2025, good luck. Good luck buying anything that is compatible with anything that is only hardware. Everything is run, like even audio companies now, everything has software and everything, like your EQ is going to be through the software, everything. So right now I keep it very, very simple. I don't try to mess with anything. I make sure that nothing is going to, the least amount of parts, the least chances of things breaking. So I have the Wave DX, and it's plugged into the Wave XLR, and I'm not even using the Elgato Wavelink software. It's just like straight from I think I have voice mod. Oh yeah, I have voice mod, but that's that's just for messing around basically. So yeah, if you hear a little bit of EQ, that's probably coming from voice mod. But other than that, I run it straight mic in OBS, record like that. And if I have to do like extra EQ and stuff like that, I'll do it in Adobe Premiere for my videos. And when I'm live streaming, I have this VST called Speechy that has all the compressor and noise reducer and blah blah blah, and really boost the audio for streaming, because I'll have like my my AC on when I'm streaming and things like that. And I'm a little less particular about my audio when I'm streaming because I have game sound playing and I have music constantly playing. So I don't worry about that. But yeah, for OBS, Wave DX, Wave XLR, straight, not using the Wavelink. I don't want Windows to make an update and then my mic doesn't work or anything like that. So none of that complicated stuff. Even for listening to audio, I don't split my audio. Like I know a lot of people are like, oh, do you split your? I don't do any of that. To me, it's like it's overcomplicating something, and it's making sure that something's gonna break at some point. It's not for me, at least. I don't have a 2 PC setup, so definitely no reason for me to split the audio. I go by ear and by eyes because you have the visual EQ and stuff. I can clearly see when my music is louder than my voice or creeping up onto the levels of my voice. I can just control it. Same thing for the alerts. Or I also set it up so if I have background music playing and I'm speaking and there's alerts, I know that what I hear is basically what the viewers hear. So if my alert is super loud compared to the music, I know that my alert was just super loud. So I can just turn it down and it's all good, But that's it. That's it. Very, very simple setup. Straight in. Same thing for my camera. It goes into a capture card, straight into OBS. Boom. Nothing complicated.
Raw. Yeah. No, I appreciate that as a workflow. I think did you say it was Speechy was the VST?
Speech, it's no longer supported, unfortunately. It was created by one guy. I remember making a video about it when it came out, and it was one guy who's like who has a lot of experience in like the audio realm. So he's like a professional musician, I think. And he made that. He was tired of people looking at just an EQ VST here and then a compressor VST somewhere else and blah blah. So he made this microphone VST basically with everything, and it's amazing. It's really, really great. I use it to this day, except sometimes I think I have a latency problem when I'm recording and I'm doing something like heavy on my computer. So my audio would drop. So that's why I don't use it when I'm recording. But when I'm live streaming, it makes me sound great. And yeah, that's it. So that one VST, that's it. I don't use I know Elgato has a bunch of VST on their Wavelink and all that. I don't use any of that. Not gonna lie.
You're giving me an idea of something I'm going to suggest to the Steinberg guys. But like, we need an up-to-date Speechy.
Oh yeah,
fantastic though, because I do think VSTs in general, Steinberg being the ones who literally invented that tech along with ASIO, it's so powerful. And myself, I come from the drumming background. I've produced music. I've always been in the pro audio side. And when I came into streaming, it was surprising how many people did not know what a VST was, considering that, the main component of a stream really is the audio. I think, because most people might have you on the second monitor or while they're cleaning and things along those lines. So it's fantastic as well that you're obviously I've seen all your tutorials, but everyone watching hasn't. But the fact that you've covered all of this and actually spread that knowledge rather than just gatekeeping it for yourself, because you'd be like, I've got great audio, no one else needs to know. But oh, it's fantastic, man. So I think I'm trying to choose what the best thing would be to ask you after that, because we've covered a fantastic amount, which is really great. Obviously, you do provide tutorials. Let's ask the key question that I'm sure you've heard a million times, but you can give without any prefaced question to this. But if you were to give someone as a streamer or a long form content creator some advice, what's like your top 3 tips?
Ooh, top 3 tips. I'd say biggest one, number 1, would be work on yourself as an entertainer. It's something that I've been saying for so many years now. It's like all the bells and whistles don't matter if you're not a good entertainer.
Yeah.
You have to understand what is it? What's the drive? What drives people to watch like a small streamer or a YouTuber or anyone really? And once you understand that, you will know like what you would want to work on yourself. Like if you watch your VODs and you feel bored, for example, I know people watch their VODs, they hate their voice, which is kind of normal, but after a while, not so normal. Or they feel bored, or they're like, oh, I can't watch. If you cannot watch your own VOD of 3 hours, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Right? The content needs to be at least entertaining to you. If it's not entertaining to you, it's definitely not going to be entertaining for other people. So the biggest and also the hardest work is on yourself, is really like look in the mirror and have a conversation with yourself. Truly, I tell people, practice speaking into a camera and feeling comfortable, because people can tell when you're nervous, when you're shy. And unfortunately, sometimes being nervous, being shy translates into, oh, the content must not be good, right? From the viewer's perspective, if you show up and there's no confidence on the host, you sometimes immediately I don't even think people think about it.
It's subconscious,
you kind
isn't
of
it?
feel exactly. You feel like the content is not good enough, and that's why the person is nervous. Whereas you can watch the worst content ever, but if the host is confident enough, you'll watch something like Jackass, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you watch the dumbest stuff, but it's because it's well presented, you know? So if you're good at presenting anything, then people will watch whatever you show to them.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest tip, is always like, you are the content, so work on yourself. Extra advantage of that is that you'll actually realize that you're becoming a more interesting person, period, right? In real life, you become, when you work on being a better content creator, you become a better entertaining person just in general. You learn how to captivate an audience when you speak and things like that. You don't stumble on your words as much and blah, blah, blah. I always give this example of, if you go to a party and there's a professional entertainer, you'll know who it is.
Yes,
you'll know. You can tell.
Right? People gravitate. I before we go on to the next tip, like, I just wanted to say you hit the nail on the head really when it comes to the confidence, because it's all about commanding your own space, isn't it? And
exactly.
And if you can't do that on stream, where you are fully in control as a creator, because you can stop the stream at any point, you can start it.
Yeah.
You are choosing what to do. Then yeah, you'd never end up being too successful if you just like, oh, well, here we go, you know. So no, absolutely fantastic advice. So that's number 1.
That's number 1.
What would you say? We don't have to do all 3.
Number 1. If you master number 1, technically you're good. Like you're you're pretty much, you're so good.
Completed it.
Exactly. Like you could get away with the little, everything else is a detail, and you can get away with being bad at the rest if you're good at the first one. But I'd say second one is to really, and it's going to sound vague at first, but I'm going to explain, to master your craft, to really try to have all the skills for your specific niche. Right.
Yeah.
And it's something, you know, like in my particular niche, I talk to live streamers, and content creators, and I do artistic stuff, right? I do multimedia art, and I really tell people the more skills you have in this particular domain, the more valuable you are in general.
Yeah.
Just in general, because, for example, you're a small content creator, a small live streamer, and let's say that, Steinberg contacts you and they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to give away our new interface, and we want you to run the giveaway. All you have to do is do a quick poster for the giveaway with your picture in it, and then a picture of our mixer, and then run the giveaway. You don't want to be the content creator, the professional live broadcaster that's like, I don't know how to use Photoshop. You don't want to be not in that moment. And so to me, it's ridiculous. Like if you're a live streamer or you're a content creator at all, not being able to put together, a decent picture of yourself and then a little bit of graphic design, to me, that's unthinkable almost. So I tell people you need to be at least decent at that kind of stuff. Same thing for video. Hey, maybe the company is like, hey, make a quick video announcing our collaboration.
Yeah.
Live streamers fall into that trap where they realize that, oh, this is the first time that I actually have to just speak to my camera outside of a live streaming setting. And then what they end up doing is whispering. And you can tell when a live streamer is not used to recording themselves, they'll be yelling during the live stream and be super hype. And then they'll be like, hi, so this company sent me this thing. And you're like, come on, you're a professional live broadcaster. Like you're a professional entertainer, and we don't feel it in this type of format. So definitely practice all types of format, I would say. And then there's a lot of advantages to that too. There's things like if you're a live streamer and you want to work with companies and get stuff for free, for example, get sent like tech because you need tech.
Yeah.
The best way to make that happen is to actually take the tech that you already have, that you already paid for, and make videos about it. Oh, hey guys, this is my live stream setup. I use this keyboard, especially since there's a lot of like tech heads in this space. So they spend a lot of money. Might as well, show it off. It's good advertisement for you, your stream. And also,
I don't feel called out. What are you talking about?
And also it puts you on the radar of other companies, that might be like, oh, you showed us, this is like your portfolio. You can do a decent presentation for a product. So we'll send you a product, right? If not, then we don't know if you can do that. So that's the second tip. You should have skills. You should have content creator skills if you call yourself a content creator. And if you're a live streamer, technically you're also a content creator, even though I usually talk about it like it's two different things. But that's because
I agree with that. There is a separation.
How reluctant they are of becoming proper full-time content creators, So I'm not saying they have to, but I'm saying that if you want certain things, there are certain things that you can do to make your life easier. And of course, in general, with the content that I do, I am not talking about people who just do it for a hobby. I'm talking about people who are serious about it, who want to make at least a living with it. So I'm definitely not shaming anyone who's just having fun and live streaming, right?
No, not at all.
So that's tip number 2. I have to think of tip number 3. I'd say have fun. It's the easy one. It's really the have fun.
I think that's the most important. That you've really covered an incredible baseline there with those, especially the confidence, but mastering your craft. You have to be a master of all, really, to be a content creator. And I agree with you. A content creator and a live streamer, they are very different things. I started live streaming for fun, but then I went to being a full-time content creator because I had to produce things to go everywhere else. It's funny you should say about the talking. The first time I did a YouTube video, I recorded it. I not edited it, but got a few things aligned in a timeline, watched it back, and I'm going upstairs to re-record that because it was horrendous. I was there like this, and I was there. I was like, that was boring, But the have fun part as well, I think, is something that a lot of people, everyone says it, don't they? But it's definitely more poignant than people realize, especially seeing as you said it earlier, you have YouTube as a job, but you have live streaming as the hobby, as fun.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to take that joy, otherwise it can. Well, I don't know about you, but we've all had our stale moments in content creation. It could be really hard. So one thing that I love to ask people on this podcast is, and I think everyone so far has had something they can pinpoint, but what is your favorite moment in your content creation journey?
Oh, this is hard.
Like you
Hardest
know,
question ever.
you could outline a couple, but usually people have something that really stood out, be it a big raid or like you say, your first video overnight getting the 2,000 views. Is there something like that, a milestone where you think back and you go, wow, to this day that was so cool?
I'm thinking of one that is kind of hard to top. Of course, I had so many moments, so many amazing moments that keep happening to this day. But at one point, I was flown out to South Africa to give a speech on stage and stuff, and the whole experience was so amazing. Honestly, so amazing. But like the big surprise for me is going there and seeing people who know me.
Yeah.
Like people that I don't know, but like everyone, like where I was, it seemed like everyone knew who I was. And I don't know, it never hit me because I'm in my room making videos, right? I'm reading comments, I'm chatting and blah, blah, blah. But going to a country, that's when I used to live in Paris. So flying from Paris to all the way to South Africa and have a bunch of people know who you are and love your content and be so nice. Like that was mind blowing to me. It never really hit me. The impact that my content really had until I really went there, and it was just amazing. It was absolutely like such a great experience, and then I happened to also absolutely love the country and all the activities that I did there, all the sightseeing and the people again were super nice to me, and they took really good care of me. So I think it's really hard when I think of it and what it represents and everything that it was. It's difficult for me to find another moment that was that was better, but there's plenty of moments, but this one is definitely one of the biggest highlights.
No, that is incredible, man. And again, you answered the question perfectly. I think everyone always has a good collection of stuff, but every single person so far has seemed to have that one standout moment. Sure. I could not imagine flying, like say, that would be so cool to fly across the world and then people be like, oh hey. It really shows how far your content has gone in its reach as well, because I know quite a few content creators. Again, nothing against them, they're fantastic, they create content, they're very much known within their circles or their country, but they fly out of that country, even though content creation is a global thing, and they're sort of on an island. And that's, I'm sort of that way, in the UK, I'm pretty known. In America, hardly anyone knows me, but to fly across to South Africa as well, which is not a country that people think of as being tied to necessarily content creation. I don't know why you wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know why you wouldn't, but no, that's wonderful, truly wonderful. Was there anyone you met there who really had an impact on you, who'd seen your content?
The reason why I got there in the first place, it was because a creator there had suggested me basically to be flown out, and his name is Grant Hind, and amazing content creator there. And I remember like watching his content, and honestly, like I was introduced to content creators in South Africa through him.
Oh, wow.
And because I honestly, it's not something that I even thought of before, and I didn't know anyone from South Africa. So it was all thanks to him that I got flown out there, and then I got to meet all of those other content creators. I mean, I was on stage giving a speech to like a room full of content creators, and some of them way more successful than I am by miles, right?
Yeah.
And then after coming down from stage, like we had a long conversation with everyone and everything that they were doing, and I don't know, it's weird that we don't think of that, but once you know about the content creator space in South Africa, you realize you realize how vast it is, but also just how creative they are, right? I feel like it's really on another level, and I wish that it would be I don't know how to say it, compensated fairly, right? Because I feel like people like the I don't like the term lazy content, because all content is content, but I feel like people are doing very, very impressive and creative stuff there, that if the world just knew about it and just saw it, everyone would be all over it, right? Everyone would be impressed, and everyone would be trying to finance that stuff and pour money onto them. But it's just like the fact that we don't think of South Africa in the first place is putting them in that little bubble where they actually have to, I'm not gonna say fight for resources in the sense of support from companies that are present on the ground there, but yeah, no, it's an amazing place, and just in Africa in general, like the content, I feel like the level is so much higher. It's like I'm impressed by people there. Like the stuff that they do is like it's not the typical stuff that you would see, you know, our local millionaires here on Twitch or YouTube are doing, you know. Well, so yeah, great country.
That's interesting that obviously from that point of view, it's obviously the algorithms on the various platforms, very centralized portions of the internet are focused around specific countries, mainly the US and Europe. And it's interesting to hear almost about this other pocket where if they've been excluded, not through any fault or intentionally, but just the way like the viewing figures and the people who are watching that content works, and the way it's sort of boxed it. It'd be interesting to see it break out. I'm gonna have to, after this, go and look up South African content creators now. Because
I'll send you some.
Yeah, please do, because it sounds inspiring as well. So looking at the time, we've got probably enough for the last two questions. So there are two questions here. It feels like one, but they usually give very different answers. So the first one, and you can choose which one to answer first, but the first one is, what are your future plans? Are you going to be doing the same thing? Is there something you really want to branch into? For example, myself, I've been doing drum streaming now for nearly 9 years. I really want to get onto good game streaming. I've always been awful at it. Is there something like that you want to break into? And then the second question for you to mull over again is, what are your goals? Is there a pinnacle you want to get to? Do you want to go to South Africa again? Is that something that is a goal? You know, what would you say is in the future and what you're aiming for?
Right now, my goal is kind of like to stabilize what I'm doing in general. We talked about discipline and all that. I'm still not there. I'm still not where I want to be. I'm very, very far from it. I'd say my discipline is like still very, very poor. I just managed to somehow produce stuff and be productive a little bit, just enough. And I need to get out of that. I really need to really focus and settle and really push out the content that I need to push in order to just stabilize my life in general, even, you know, financially and all that. The problem with YouTube, and that being my main source of everything really, is that you know, there's high tides, low tides, the algorithm shifts and moves, and sometimes you're just like, you know, it's rowing the boat and you're just going with the flow. So I recently there was like a big shift that happened, and looking at my analytics and looking at my content, and just nothing made sense. And I hated that. I absolutely hated that. And I felt like I needed to really, you know, start grabbing my eggs and putting them in different baskets, you know? So I don't think I even told people that, like people that watch me, that, but I have like a movie channel where I do movie reviews and kind of like analysis or the film and stuff like that, movie essays, if you will. or I just rant about things that bother me in movies.
We are gonna have to have a conversation off stream because this would take up the next 3 hours if we started. I feel having worked in visual effects and
Same.
on movies, I have so
Same.
many pet hates, but also things that I love. Or I'm massively into the history of films, like the sacrilege of why we never got a Treasure Planet 2 or things like that. But
Yeah.
I didn't know, what's your cinema, like your film channel called?
It's called GaelLEVEL Comments.
Cool. A C gamer put in the chat.
Oh, you put it?
Yeah.
Awesome. There you
I
go.
am gonna have to go and check out that after the stream.
So yeah, I'm trying to get that monetized. So this is also like half, hey, I want to express this creatively, but also I'd like this to also be a source of income. So I also want to treat it as a job the same way that I treat my main channel. I want that to get going. I also have a tech channel that I've kind of abandoned for the past year. I might come back to this one, but the goal is to
Tech is hard. Tech is hard to do on YouTube.
The goal is to not necessarily spread myself thin, but to definitely spread myself and be out there and find the workflow that works for me, that makes me consistent on all those different things, right?
Yes.
So that I can really stop worrying too much about my one channel and my one like domain, which is the whole Twitch and live stream stuff. But also, like, I'm not gonna lie, the whole streaming stuff sometimes can get tiring, especially like with the content that I do and the people that I deal with. Of course, this is like first world problem. It's an amazing job. Like, I have the best job in the world and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. But
there's always something. There will always be something.
Exactly. It's like tiny complaints about there's some weird social interactions that makes no sense, or it can be frustrating. Like, I used to do a show called Stream Review where I would look at people's streams and give them advice. And after 122 episodes, I think.
Wow.
My mental health was like down the drain and I couldn't do it anymore. I was just like, oh, is this me repeating the exact same things over and over and over again for 122 episodes? I just can't do it. I just can't get myself to do it. So I canceled that. Just to show that, even if it's tiny little complaints, sometimes they can add up and you have to deal with that stuff. My goal in general would be to really feel comfortable, I would say, to like wake up and feel secure in general in life and with my content and everything, to feel like, oh, no matter what I post today, it's going to be well received in general.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Right now I'm kind of oh, is it going to flop or is it going to bop? I don't like that. I absolutely don't like that. And YouTube is playing games with me. The algorithm is definitely playing games with me recently. And I would say my goal is to stabilize absolutely everything: live streaming, short form content, YouTube, and all that good stuff, but also try to break into that movie niche if possible.
Yeah.
Stay on my main niche too, maybe a little bit of tech, because those are things that are just part of my life, right? I'm not going out of my way and I'm not doing things that I don't know anything about. Is things that I express. The truth is, those are things that I yap with my friends about all the time. And sometimes I don't have a friend to yap with, so I might as well record a video. Exactly.
Yeah. It's sort of wonderful to hear about the diversity that you're going for in content. But not enough people, I think, talk about that. As you said, it's a wonderful job, first world problems, sure. But also at the same time, I've been there, and there is nothing like the stability of knowing, hey, I will get paid on this day, on this month, and it will be this amount. That up and down and the fluctuation is something that comes with having the great job of content creation, but also is the thing that keeps you up at night. I sometimes don't feel it's talked about enough because there are so many different faceted ways that it affects us. Yeah, but fantastic goals, truly. And I will be going and looking at Gael level comments, because massive. I love the idea of, especially with your expertise, you've watched live streams, you've watched people entertain. Film is just a different form of entertainment, obviously post-produced, etc. But like you say, you've got the graphic design skills, you've got the visual eye. and that applies to anything recorded even more so than to say live streams. So I'm looking forward to hearing your comments, quite literally Gael level comments on
Yeah.
there.
I used to work as a VFX artist too.
Oh really?
Actually,
What was the thing you were doing?
I was mostly doing compositing through like After Effects. So
Right.
I wasn't doing 3D or anything like that. Just mostly compositing or just like anything you can get away with old school After Effects. That was my thing. I was doing music videos mostly.
Yeah.
Nothing huge. No like feature film or anything like that. But yeah, short films, documentaries, advertisement, music videos a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of funny too. Like when I started doing YouTube, I thought like I have so much experience as a video editor and like a filmmaker just in general, on top of VFX artist. So I thought, oh, this YouTube thing is gonna be so simple. And I was so wrong. I had to unlearn everything that I thought I knew in order to relearn how to be a YouTuber, but also a YouTube editor. Because it's so different. It has nothing to do.
Yeah.
When I used to do music videos, I would tell my clients, yeah, give me 3 months, right? And that was fine. And I started doing YouTube and I would start doing like 2 weeks on one video. And then the video gets 20 views. And I'm like, yeah, I can't go with that pace. I need to do something.
Go.
And then I had to relearn everything basically to be a YouTuber.
It's wild. I sort of had the same thing with visual effects when I came into streaming. I went, oh well, I've got all this film knowledge, and thankfully I unlearned and then relearned a lot of stuff. But I was very much like, well, I can create some really cool looking stuff, and then I went into the limitations of the technology. I was like, I can't create any of this stuff. It's wild. Yeah, I worked on 3D lighting, so a totally different side. But I did a lot to do with compositing in university, and my very first job in visual effects was tracking, manually tracking things. Which
around what year?
That would have been about 2015.
Oh, and you said manually tracking? Oh God!
When After Effects' and Nuke's algorithm couldn't track stuff, and you had to go in and manually reset all the points, which was one slide, move the point, go back, next slide, move the point, for like 7 to 8 hours a day straight. Oh, I do not miss that, I can tell you.
And then next frame, big motion blur, so you don't even know where to put the tracker.
Oh, that was the thing. Was the times when you got like a really high frame rate camera and they were doing something in slow motion was amazing, because every frame was perfectly defined. And then you get someone who's like, I've been really artistic and I want this tracking, and I'm going, oh no, please no. Every like clear frame is what, 20 between each other. But no, it's
horrible.
Yeah, it's interesting what you were saying though, with the way that YouTube is so different. YouTube is the most watched media on the planet now as a platform, far exceeding even Netflix, Disney Plus. If you've not looked up the recent stats, it's something like almost 6 times.
What?
Yeah, it's insane. But it's a totally different flow. It really is. When you sit down to watch a film to a YouTube videos are basically some of the really big creators. They are mini films, but you got to condense a story into 15 minutes.
I mean, think about it. Watching like a recent Mr. Beast video and comparing that to, I don't know, a Pimp My Ride episode. You're gonna see so much similarity. Actually, you're gonna be like, first of all, Mr. Beast seems to have higher production quality. You know, even though that was MTV. You know, that was the big thing. That was where all the shows came from. And you know, now YouTubers have that, like, they have better quality. They also have, you know, more of the audience too, which is wild to think of.
I've seen better VFX on a YouTube video that's 10 minutes long than some feature films that have come out in the last 5 years. And I'm like, I know how much this costs. And, and they're like far exceeding it's wild. But we've got about 5 minutes left. We've talked and talked because way past where I would have asked for questions usually. But is there anyone in the chat? I know we've had quite a few people just lurking and listening, which we really appreciate. But is there anything that anyone would like to ask Gael before we go? Like I say, we've got 5, maybe maximum 10 minutes if we have a couple of questions. But if not, while we are waiting for questions, there is a tradition that I've started, which is you get to choose who we raid when we finish.
Oh,
so
damn. Okay.
Yeah, let me know your choice of who we should go and see. It'd be great. But truly, man, thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. And if there's any other channels or anything you're working on that you'd like to shout out now, please feel free. And yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing much. Just get level comments. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs so I can get monetized. Start making that paper.
We can do this.
I think I'm something like 45 subscribers left in order to reach 1,000. It actually went super fast because one of my videos kind of blew up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That plus my main channel, that's what I'm gonna be posting on.
Yeah.
My socials, I'm all over social media. Just, type my name and you'll find me. And yeah, nothing more than that really. That's mostly what I'm trying to focus on right now. No other projects.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for that movie YouTube to go off so I can
It will do.
Try to focus on it,
Yeah.
So, I hope so. I really hope so.
We have one question from C Gamer. And they've asked, in regards to diversifying your content, if you had to start over, what would you do differently?
This is that's so difficult because the problem is that when you start, you almost always have to, throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you don't have a choice to diversify your content. If you're the type of person who's like, I'm going to make a channel, for example, I'm going to make a movie channel and I'm only going to review episodes of popular TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start doing that. And by the 20th video, you realize it's not working. Then it's just not working. You should have tried more. So what I say is diversify a lot when you're starting out, and then, cut off things that don't seem to be working.
Sort of like a cone, isn't it? You've got to focus
exactly. Exactly. Which is what I did with my main channel too. I was doing DIY stuff on my main channel for a while, and that wasn't working as much unless I was like recreating something from Elgato with cardboard or something, right?
Yes.
Which gave me this false sense of hope that people are into DIY. No, they're not. They're just into Elgato products, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up like going towards tutorials, mostly OBS. I stuck to one software. I know a lot of people have been asking me about Meld, and I'm like, no, OBS Studio, that's it. I did tutorials on video editing, for example, and my audience is mostly live streamers who hate editing, so I kind of gave up on that too. Even the tech review stuff, unless it was like tech that was towards streamers, like it wasn't worth it to put it on the channel, which is why I made my tech channel. So definitely the cone, start wide, cast a wide net, and then see what sticks, and then just stick to that if it's working, right? And as soon as whatever you have, the little bit that you have, like stops working, cast a wide net again, try out more stuff again. And it's like on perpetuity, like that's what being a content creator is. Yeah. Algorithms are going to change, trends are going to change, people are going to grow up and they're going to change, and things that are super cool first are going to become lame, and then you have to be able to that's one of your biggest skills for longevity, is to be able to shift tides with your niche.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, fantastic answer. Honestly, there's so much to be aware of. But then,
I found the victim.
PixieBluey. Let's go. Right. Okay. Well, again, Thank you, man, so much for joining. I really, really appreciate it. But for everyone who's watched as well, I hope you've all enjoyed hearing everything we've talked about today. We've covered quite a lot, and it's been really, really, this is, I won't tell anyone, it's been one of my favorites so far. So thank you so much. But yes, everyone, if you haven't already, you should go and follow Gael across all his channels. Let me do, let's see if it'll let me do it. There we go. Go and follow at very least, Gael's Twitch. And you can see all of the fantastic stuff that he does when he's live. But let's go see, is it PixieBluey?
PixieBluey, yeah.
What do they do?
Mostly indie games.
That's cool. Okay. Did that actually fire off? No, it did not. Twitch being Twitch. Rage created successfully. Third time lucky. Yes, let's go and see PixieBluey again. Everyone, we will be back next week. We don't know who is going to be the guest yet, but we will have someone lined up, and we're hoping to start announcing the guests a little more in advance. But thank you so much. I know it was sort of like short notice you jumping on, man, but I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, right. Let's go, everyone. We will see you next time, and have a great week.